Ah yes, in town of Salem, a Puritan colony built on Puritan principles, for they were very religious in the Puritan ways. It's a very strict and harsh place. They were very religious, but it was within that strict and very religious community that the seeds of fear was infested. In the years prior to our presentation, there was a child called Abigail. You see, she worked for a farmer called John Proctor, and John Proctor was married. However, since Elizabeth was not very warm with John Proctor, and she kept it called house, John Proctor eventually had a bit of an affair, so to speak, with Abigail. And since Abigail was, underage, it was under literary. And once Elizabeth found out, she kicked Abigail out. And it was in that Abigail sought revenge against Elizabeth, for she wanted John Proctor all for herself. And it did not help matters that Abigail's parents were dead, so she had to seek work everywhere. And since she got kicked out by Elizabeth, well, she didn't have anywhere else to go except to the minister's house. Elsewhere in the city, there's disputes over land, specifically the nurses and Putnams, for they're disputing over a piece of land that they supposedly own together. Well, since due to how the Putnams always lost their children, and the nurses have never lost their children. It didn't help matters. The Putnam's anger against the nurses grew monumentally to a climax which occurred during the witch trials. And so our story begins with Paris interrogating Abigail for what happened to Betty, for he has a sneaking suspicions that they did something in the forest.
Go directly home and speak nothing of unnatural causes.
Uncle, the rumor of witchcraft is all about. I think you'd best go down and then deny it yourself. The parlor's packed with people. I'll sit with her myself.
And what shall I say to them? That my daughter and my niece I discovered dancing in the woods like heathen?
Uncle, we did dance. I'll let you tell them I confessed it. And I'll be whipped if I must. But they're speaking of witchcraft. Betty's not witched.
Abigail, I cannot go before the congregation when I know you have not opened with me. What did you do with her in the forest?
We did dance, Uncle, and when you leaped out of the bush so suddenly, Betty was frightened and then she fainted. Then there's the whole of it.
Child, sit you down.
I would never hurt Betty. I love her dearly.
Now look, you child, your punishment will come in its time. But if you trafficked with spirits in the forest, I must know it now, for surely my enemies will, and they will ruin me with it.
But we never conjured spirits.
Then why can't she move herself since midnight? This child is desperate. It must come out. My enemies will bring it out. Let me know what you have done there, Abigail. Do you understand that I have many enemies?
I have heard of it, Uncle.
There's a faction that is sworn to drive me from my pulpit. Do you understand that?
I think so, sir.
Now then, in the midst of such disruption, my own household is discovered to be the very center of some obscene practice. Abominations are done in the forest.
It were sport, Uncle.
Betty, you call this sport? Abigail, if you know something that may help the doctor, for God's sake, tell it to me.
And so while Abigail tried telling Paris what happened in the forest, Betty woke up and, well, they could call her mad, for she started screaming for her dead mom, and she tried flying out of the window, and Abigail tried holding her back. And that is when the entire town came over, and that is when they knew.
Mama! Mama! No! Mama! No! I want my mama! No!
And that was when Putnam came over and started interrogating Paris about the accusations of witchcraft inside his house. For you see, Paris was a pastor. And since he's a pastor, well, his family's supposed to be the holiest. As to any accusations of witchcraft, what's to stop other people in this town being witched?
You're not that done! Let you take hold here! Wait for no one to charge you! Declare yourself! You discovered witchcraft!
In my house, Thomas, they will topple me with this. They will make of it a...
Your pardons! I only thought to see how Betty is! Why aren't you home? Where is Ruth? Her grandma's sick home! She's improved a little! I think she gave a little sneeze before. Ah, there! A sign of life! I fear no more! Go improve them! It was the great sneeze! I know that I can shake her underwits together! I'm sure!
Will you leave me now, Thomas? I would pray a while alone.
Uncle, you've prayed since midnight. Why do you not go down and...
No! I have no answer for that crowd. I'll wait until Mr. Hale arrives. If you will, Goody Ann.
Now look, sir, lest you strike against the devil in the village will bless you for it. Come down, speak to them, pray with them. They were thirsting for your word, minister. Surely you'll pray for them.
I'll lead them in a song, but let you say nothing of witchcraft yet. I will not discuss it. The cause is yet unknown. I have had enough contention since I came. I want no more.
Percy, you go home to Ruth now, you hear?
If she starts for the window, cry for me at once.
I will, Uncle.
There's a terrible power in her arms today.
How's Ruth sick?
It's Swedish, I know. She seems to not work like a did since last night.
Now stop this, Betty. Sit up now.
If she starts for the window, cry for me at once.
I will, Uncle.
There's a terrible power in her arms today.
Keep playing dead. How is Ruth sick?
It's Swedish, I know. She seemed not to work like a did since last night.
Betty. Now stop this. Betty, wake up now.
I didn't say beating her. I gave Ruth a good one and said, wait her for a minute.
No, he'll be coming up. Listen now. If they be questioning us, tell them we danced. I told them as much already.
And so they call upon Reverend Hale, for he has been known to be the true expert on witchcraft. And if he does detect witchcraft inside the Paris' household, that spells doom for the town of Salem.
Hey, Reverend Hale in the house! Say, I heard there was a witch in here. Witch go better. This is the better talking now. Look at it. See, you got bugs at 9 o'clock. Get this through. But what are the symptoms? Flying? I don't get it anymore. Let's see. Flying. Reports of flying, that's the witch. If they have blue eyes or blonde hair, it's a girl. And the witch going there. I'm running, Reverend Hell out. Go. Boom.
Okay. Reverend Hale did not do some of that, of which was portrayed by our actors, but he was a bit of a know-it-all, and he did pretty much just accuse Betty off the spot, like, yep, that's a witch. However, he did not walk out like he did. Just clarifying. And so, John Proctor, hearing the news of witches and not wanting to do anything with them, goes home to his wife, Elizabeth, and comes to a stew that Elizabeth has prepared. But due to their strained relationship, well, you can see.
We got some stew.
The witch trials go on, and everyone gets accused. And well, eventually in the end, John Proctor is the one final, last accused. And, well, Reverend Hale has given him a way out. A confession. If he signs it, and tells the people that he has confessed, he is free. But alas, John Proctor cannot bear to tell the people that he's confessed. And after signing it, he rips apart the confession to the shock of everyone, including Elizabeth, who was present. And so, to protect his name, his pride, his family, he decides to go to the gallows. From what started out a small accusation to snowballing into a town-wide witch hunt, with Paris keeping his lie, an attempt to stay afloat and keep his power as Reverend, Abigail using the town's panic and fear of witches, and leaving when she could, and John Proctor trying to be strong amongst us all and try to keep his name afloat, but in the end being destroyed and crushed beneath the accusations of others and his own pride. And Reverend Hale trying to be the sane voice of all, to try and plead with Danforth and the common people in Salem, to try and see past all the lies of Abigail and see what these witch trials truly were. That was the witch trials. Accusations snowballing into death for the accused.